and 1/5. And then another parenthesis. So you see how I'm navigating with my arrows? Parenthesis, 1 7/8. Again, navigating with my arrows. And then I'm going to hit enter. I'm going to enter in exactly how I see it. I'm not changing a thing. So they wanted the answer on my math lab as proper fractions or mixed numbers. I put it in both. I put proper fraction, mixed number, and an improper fraction when I did when I worked through these. So let's try another one. You ready? So here, I'll try it on a different calculator. I don't know if you need parentheses on this one. I'm going to try it. 2 2/3, and we're going to divide that by 1/5. So I got 13 1/3. Then if I wanted to convert it to an improper fraction, remember the key above the ABC key? There's your 40/3. All right, so stop the video right now and work through the rest of these, okay, till you get to the back, and then we'll talk about the back together. So stop the video and then work through the rest, and then I'm going to show you the answer. So pause it, pull out your calculators, make sure you're comfy cozy with fractions, and then we'll see how you did. Okay, so pause away. All right, so hopefully you're back. So these are the answers I got. So for 5 and 6, depending on your calculator, sometimes it gives it to you as a mixed number, sometimes as an improper fraction. So make sure you're comfy going back and forth between both. Okay, so excuse me, either got 7 1/3 or 22 Just make sure you can get both. This one was 6 1/2 or 13/2. Go ahead and check. Now listen, if you're not getting these, you got to give me a shout. You got to call me. Send me a remind, and then I'm going to watch you do it on your calculator. Like, you can hold your calculator up to the camera, and I can watch what you're doing. Or if you just showed me what you got in your calculator, I could figure out what you're doing wrong. So if you're not getting these answers, let me know right away, because there's a big chunk of calculator parts, and this is a lot of it. So the problem on the back actually happened to Gracie and I. So Gracie's my daughter, and I don't remember, a couple weeks ago we were making some marshmallow, the Rice Krispie treats, yum. And so I bought a bag of the mini marshmallows. This is actually the bag I had. I took a picture of it, and this was the recipe on the box. And then we got it home, and she said, "Oh, she goes, do we have enough? Because it says we needed 4 cups of it." I was like, oh, I don't know, is this going to be enough? So this is how you can tell. So if you look on the bag, it says a serving size is 2/3 of a cup. Can you see that? So the serving size is 2/3 of a cup of mini marshmallows, and it says that there's 9 servings in the container. So we have 9 of these 2/3. So if you've got 9 of means multiply, these 2/3 of a cup, we actually had enough, right? We had 6 cups altogether, right? And it looks like the recipe said we needed 4 cups of the mini marshmallows. And let me tell you, we threw the whole bag in, and oh my God, they were so good. Talk about ooey gooey. They were really yummy. So yes, we had enough, and we threw the whole bag in. I highly recommend that. They were so good. All right. So the last section, I think we're going to have time. I'm keeping my eye on the time. Looks like the video so far is about 33 minutes. It's going to be cut into 2 videos because the YouTube will only take about 30 minutes of video at a shot. So let's just wrap this up. Let's do 4-8, and then you won't have to hear my voice until Monday. So this is a review section. It's just solving equations, so with fractions, but we have our calculator for these sections, so we shouldn't be worried at all. So I thought it would be worth our while just to review a little problem out of chapter 3. So when you're given an equation and you want to solve it, first thing you got to do is get rid of the parentheses, right? Get rid of the parentheses. So we're going to take that 5 and distribute it to both terms. So that'll be 3 times 5, right, is 15x minus 5, and then plus 15. And then pull out your calculator. Let's just get this over with. Make that cleaner. Let's look at that. So negative 6 plus 1, if you do that on your calculator, I'd ask someone to do it for me. That's going to be negative 5. All right. So step number 2, combine all like terms. So we already did that on that side, but we haven't done it on this side. So remember, the sign and the number go hand in hand. So on your calculator, you're going to go negative 5 plus 15, right? So if you do that, negative 5 plus 15, you get positive 10. And so step 3 says we want to get all the variable terms on one side, which they're all by themselves already. And so let's get that 10 over to, remember we have a lonely term, so let's get all the constants over there. Okay, so I'm going to subtract 10 and subtract 10 because addition will undo subtraction. That equals 0, and I'll bring it down here. Then we'll have 15x equals negative 15. And then step number 4, divide both sides so that the x is by itself. So when I divide by 15, looks like x is going to equal negative 1. All right, so that's what we did in chapters 1, 2, and 3, basically. So you see these ors, and the or deals with this if you have a fraction instead of a constant, instead of a whole number in front of that x term. And so we're going to talk about the different types of options if you have a fraction. So let's flip. Let's work through some of this. You ready? Now you got your calculators. So you don't have to do any of this out by hand. This one's not too bad, but I'm going to use my calculator anyway because the nice thing about the calculator is that it'll give us to it immediately in simplest form. So when I add 3 over 12 to both sides, you know what? I'm just going to do it on my calculator. I mean, I know it's 10 over 12, but the nice thing about the calculator, when you hit enter, it doesn't give me 10 over 12. It gives me 5, 6 because it simplifies it right from the start, which is very key, right? Very key. All right, let's try this one. So to undo that positive 5/3, I'm going to subtract 5/3. So then x is going to equal, we've got 7/8 minus 5/3. We'll hit enter, and it's going to give it to us automatically in simplest form. Isn't that cool? It's so nice. It solves it out for us. All right, so here's this guy. Let's talk about this. So what I like to do if I have a fraction in the front is I like multiplying it by the reciprocal. So how does that help us, multiplying both sides by the reciprocal? Well, look, this is going to give us 6 over 6. The 6 over 6 is just 1, right? The 3's cancel, the 2's cancel. So if you're allowed to multiply both sides by the reciprocal to get rid of that fraction. And then you can go ahead and just do this on your calculator. You don't have to do it in your head. You've got your calculator in this whole section. So there we go. If they ask you on My Math Lab, oh no, we want it as a mixed number, you know how to change things to a mixed number on your calculator. So we're going to take that answer, hold on, and then we're going to convert it to a mixed number, right? So the calculator is going to do a lot of the work for us. We're going to really rely pretty heavily on this. Now, this was actually back in chapter 2. So if you're dividing, right, and that was our last step, what do we do to undo division? We multiply by the denominator, right? Because the 6 on the top cancels with the 6 on the bottom. That's what we did in chapter 2. So we'll have negative 5 over 16, and I'm going to multiply that by 6. If they ask you, so here, I'm going to write that down, negative 15 over 8. If my math lab says, please give it to me as a mixed number instead of an improper fraction, then we know how to do that on our calculator, right? Get real comfy with that key. So let's just do a couple more. Let's just do a couple more. Why don't you try 1 and 2? Like, pause the video. Do 1 and 2 right now, and then let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then we'll stop it here. And then when we come back on Monday, I'm checking out the time. We'll do 7, 8, and 9 when we come back on Monday, because there's a little trick to those. So I'm going to show you the trick on Monday. So let's pause it. Go ahead and take your time. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then we'll stop it there. And then when we come back on Monday, when you have your video on Monday, the first thing I'm going to do are 7, 8, and 9. And then we're going to do some conversions. We're going to do 2 days of conversions. They're going to take us a while. So we'll do that Monday and Wednesday. And then I'm going to send you a review that I'd like you to practice with over the weekend, along with an oh wow. And then we would pretend we're not going to actually take the test on Monday. We'll deal with that when we come back. But I'll send you a review so that you know what it would look like. And then we'll probably work through it a little bit on Monday with a lecture. Okay? So pause. Go ahead and work it out. Join me when you're done. Okay. So hopefully, to undo the positive 3, 7, you subtracted, right? To undo addition, we subtract. And then, honest to goodness, don't do it in your head. Because, I mean, I know you can. But I would just get comfy cozy doing these with your calculator, because no matter what the answer is, the calculator will simplify it for you. So hopefully you got 2 7s for that one. All right, to undo subtraction, we're going to add. So on my calculator, I've got 1 over 2 plus 2 over 3, and I'll get 7/6. That's improper. If my math lab wants it as a mixed number, you guys know how to do that, right? You guys get 7/6 or 1 1/6. If you don't know how to do that on a calculator, you got to call me, and I'll walk you through it. It'll be really easy to walk you through it. All right, remember, if you have a fraction in the front, to undo the fraction, you can multiply by the reciprocal. What you do to one side, you got to do the other. Because remember, 7 on the top, 7 on the bottom, cancels with 8 on the top, 8 on the bottom. So x will equal, don't forget about that negative, we got negative 2/3 times 8 over 7. So that'll give us negative 16 all over 21. Did you get that? I'm hoping you did. Let me know if you're not getting these. And this, I kind of saw this on my math lab, and I just want to give you a hint, right? 4 on the top, 5 on the bottom is same as 4/5. Okay? So you can still just, here I'm going to write it out again. 4x over 5 equals negative 8. So you can still multiply by the reciprocal. Do you see I put the 5 on the top and the 4 on the bottom? So then 4 on the top, 4 on the bottom, 5 on the top, 5 on the bottom, those cancel. And then we got to multiply it over here. So we got negative 8. Hoping you guys can see that okay. Negative 8 times 5 over 4. Oh, look at that. It gives us negative 10. See, the nice thing about the calculator is it simplifies it for us. I like that it does that. All right. Now look, there's a couple ways you could do this. My first instinct is to divide, but the way I'm going to write divide over here is divide by 3. And that's what I'm going to put in my calculator. Because it's weird to go divide by 3. It's weird to see that because it doesn't make any sense for the calculator. So we're used to getting rid of multiplication with division, and that's great. But to make life easy, I wrote it as divide by 3. I divided by 3 here, that's the form, and then I divided by 3 here. I just took a little different twist on it. So hopefully you got 2 7s for that. And there's other ways to do it, however way you want to do it. That's great with me. And then the last one, we're going to subtract 1. Hopefully you guys subtracted 1 first. So you'll have 5 over 7x 3 over 7 minus 1. So that gave you negative 4 over 7. I'm hoping you try these first. You know, if I'm going too fast, you can just pause it and watch it again. And then to undo that fraction in the front, you can multiply by the reciprocal. You can multiply by the flip. So do you see the 5 on the top cancels with the 5 on the bottom? 7 on the top cancels with the 7 on the bottom. So you'll have x equals, and if you pull out your calculator, I'm just going to see it right away. You should have gotten 4/5. Okay, so we're going to stop there. Looks like, you know, we've gone about 45 minutes. It would have taken us a lot longer to do that in class if we went around the room and there was a pause where you guys were working them through. So that should be probably what we would have gotten covered in class. So the My Math Labs are open. You'll have a video on Monday, and Monday's going to start right with these. So make sure you hold on to these. And then you're going to have the worksheets for that you already have for conversions. So we'll play with those on Monday. So let me know if you're having any trouble. Work on that. Oh wow. And I hope everyone is doing really well. Again, I really miss seeing you guys. I hope everyone's well, and let me know if you have any questions. All right, I'll talk to you on Monday.